Ciao, ciao, two people here. I'll let this get to like 5 or 6 before we start this day. Nice quick live drive on the way to work, just to keep the content coming, just to keep the spirits high. So if you do come in, just let me know who's here. Probably just get some of the regulars. Can usually pick who's going to come through at this time anyway. You know, you sort of equalize the patterns of certain people, and it helps you get on top of the time zones as well a little bit. So we might see a couple of friendly, familiar faces. There was pretty much just one, and of course, Debbie Kerr's coming in to see us off, to set us off. Awesome. Grande Beppe. Thank you, Beppe. He's right. He's very, very right. I should not be driving and reading. So because Beppe said so, I'm going to be looking straight ahead. And to be honest, it's the right move, because the police in New South Wales, in Australia, are unforgiving when it comes to this sort of stuff. I did have a couple of topics I wanted to talk about, so I will stay focused on that. I want to talk about potential transfers out of the club at the end of this season, and it's been another season in Serie A where I think a lot of the fans of big clubs are looking at their main assets and going, you know, Mizzica, all of these players are replaceable. Who are we putting up on a pedestal that really, really deserves maximum contracts, really deserves to be the focal point behind a club's financial expenditure, behind the club's wage bill? And I say this because despite having such a good season, there are so many of our players that can coop a very, very, very generous fee and just might be replaceable for a very small fraction of their market value. I'm talking, of course, about players like Marcus Thuram. I'm talking about players like, and this is the crucifixion one coming. Yeah, I am gonna do the Lautaro dance one more time. I know it's still raw. I know the Atletico Madrid thing stings, but that's still not necessarily the only reason I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this because of the delay in contract. And if this brother is going to hold us for 10 million, oh my goodness, that's a stinger, that salary. That is a stinger, that salary. It's really, really, really deep. And I know people will say, you know, Osimhen got that salary. But look at Napoli's wage bill. How many players are in the meaty curve of in between 5 to 10 million at Napoli? Because we've got a few now. We are paying Hakan 6.5. We are paying Nico 6. And he is going to negotiate for 7 again. We will negotiate Bastoni for 6. You know, a lot of these players, Thuram's getting 6.5, I'm pretty sure. A lot of these players that we have, we've got an expensive wage bill. We've still got the biggest wage bill in the country. Yes, we didn't start the season with the biggest one, but I'm not going to sit here and ignore the stats and the data that reflects our wage bill. So technically our wage bill reflects the dominance in Serie A. I do feel as though we can go into Serie A next season with this same squad and win the league again. Maybe not dominate to the extent that we have this time around, but we have to realize that the squad is strong enough to compete in Serie A. But look at what happens in Europe. And I know we got to the final last season, but we did not come up against any Madrid sides. We did not come up against 2 German heavyweights. We didn't take on an English side until the final. There was no Paris in between there. I know the Portuguese giants and our fellow countrymen are no role. And that is the capital gains plus Valenza situation that goes around every club. The following players are subject to coop the maximum amount of plus Valenza. Denzel Dumfries, bought for 12.5 million euros, has contracted down 3 years, and with no renewal, if we get anything over 20 million, would be amazing. You get 25 million, well, you've doubled the plus Valenza that you were going to coop anyway. Denzel Dumfries will still be the #1 man on the list. If you can extend his contract and sell him, that's incredible. But that's not going to happen. The second player is Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who I do not want to see leave the club. I think he would be one of the players to replace. But we've replaced Eriksen. We've replaced Brozovic. If Saudi Arabia is going to come out with 40 mil in the bag and go, yeah, we'll drop this on our, on everybody's favorite Turkish player because, he is that halfway Arab signing that will be a great ambassador for Saudi Arabia. I think it's an easy transition for him. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. We haven't really heard a whisper of it yet. And I know some fans are probably going to watch this video today and go, geez, Anthony, what side of the bed did you wake up on this morning, mate? Well, why did you wake up and with this sort of mentality? Are you selling your car as well? Not yet. But we need to start being realistic. The third one is Marcus Thuram. And I really do think that this might be a very surprise sacrificial lamb. I wouldn't be that surprised. But this reeks of a Beppe Marotta profit. If $0 gets flipped for 50 plus in one season, you've just done the Onana thing all over again. Personally, I don't really want to see him go because I feel like he's had a really good first season. Needs to improve in plenty of aspects of his game, but there are aspects of his game that we can work on significantly. There are assets on this club that can really coop a really good fee, a really good fee. So we're gonna have to be clever. We're gonna have to be clever because we can really steer the ship in the right direction with one or two smart sales. I like what Mattia has said there. I've just taken a glance. After this second start, anybody and everybody can go. I would still stand by my statements of years ago to today. Don't touch the Italians, only because of the marketability they bring this club and the identity. Beppe is forging this team in his image of the seniority of Darmian, Acerbi, leading the core peak of Bastoni, Barella, Fratesi, Di Marco. So I think that might continue to build. I think we might be in. You know who I think that we're going to surprisingly be in for at the end of this season? Watch it closely. Raspadori. Raspadori is going to be a signing for us, I feel. I feel it's just a matter of time. The other players that are obviously rumored to come in are Zielinski and Taremi. I don't really want Taremi. Taremi was coming off the bench for Porto in the Champions League. I really don't think for his salary he's the player that we need. And I like the whispers that have come out during the week that, we're having second thoughts about not only just not making him the only forward signing, but second guessing it altogether. I don't think he's the player that I want. I don't want Marko Arnautovic here next season. I'd prefer it if Alexis Sanchez wasn't here next season. The attacking situation is still inconsistent. We went into it this season fearing for our life, and for good reasons. We've had our moments with Lautaro not being available, very sporadically and briefly, thank God. But we've had our moments where Thuram hasn't been available, and now we can see it. We're bringing Thuram back at 80% every time. He's not at 100%. Arnautovic won't be at 100% ever again. We're going to bring Arnautovic back in the next few weeks, and he's going to cop another one. Watch, he's going to cop another one for sure. I don't think he's here next season. I said in a previous video that I'm confident because this team should only be a couple of moves away from being ready for next season. We don't need keyhole surgery. We don't need open heart surgery. We seriously don't. We're 1 to 2 smart moves away from having a really good season 24-25. Whereas with all due respect to Juventus, Napoli and Milan, I think in order to compete with us, they're going to need to flip a few. You can't go into next season with the current starting 11s and the bench that you guys have got because you won't challenge well enough, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. It's a cocky one, and I'm sure it's wrong to a certain extent, but I'm sure it's right to a certain extent as well. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, just pretty much outgoing transfers. This off-season is definitely going to be an off-season where we look at our squad and think, how can we make minor alterations for longevity reasons? Can we make some minor hard decisions that in the long run are going to improve us? There are aging members of this squad. There are aging members of this squad. And I think that it's time to start thinking about shifting them. I think it's time to think about shifting them. Who am I talking about? Well, I'm just going to rally off the senior names on the list. And this Acerbi situation, yeah? The fact that he got sent home from international duty doesn't necessarily mean an admission of guilt on anyone's behalf. It's more so an admission of we are not to take this on for friendly duty. We're not going to fight this. We're not going to challenge this. We are not even going to talk about it. Francesco, we don't even want to know what happened. We don't want to know if he said it or if he didn't. Don't travel with us, man. Stay home. Lay low. That's what I think's happened here. If these were qualifiers, if these were competitive games, and Mancini really, really wanted Francesco to play, they would have figured out a scapegoating way to get around this. In terms of him being guilty or not, I have no idea. So let's entertain both sides for a second. I'm not really trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm just analyzing both, because there is no place for racism in modern day sport. There is no place for racism in any sort of competitive nature. And if he is guilty of it, of saying that word, then he needs a senior level ban. And to be honest, he probably won't play for us again because of his age. He is a player that I would have still kept around next season for locker room reasons, because when he does start for us in a back three, he doesn't look his age. He's very good. He's one of the better man markers in the league. He's one of the better central defenders in the league. His age is not really a factor here. He's proven that he needs to start ahead of Stefan de Vrij. Stefan de Vrij, who's getting turned by Depay, Giroud's. You know, Depay and Giroud's are not your world-class spinneroonies, but they're spinnerooning all over Stefan de Vrij. Always early, bro. Always early, Tim. Always early to school, bro. I love the early, crisp, fresh air in this part of southwest Sydney. The air is very fresh. The agriculture is amazing. And, you know, any job in the world where you can leave at 3 p.m., I don't think you need to arrive at 8 a.m., that's for sure. Arrive a little bit earlier, get the most out of your day. Acerbi possibly out. So, yeah, if he did say that, he's got to go. He's got to go 100%. However, I am suspicious of the backtracking of Juan Jesus in his post-match interview. The backtracking leads me to believe that there could be a slight exaggeration on the pitch, and Juan Jesus is thinking, you know what, if I can get the referee to buy into this here, he might see red. He might have said something, but he might not have done the full 100. Either or, I don't want people to think that I'm downplaying the incident. I'm just saying that if there's stonewall evidence, he will cop the ban. We are also living in a very sensitive time where accusations sort of get dealt with punishments. The whole innocent until proven guilty thing, it's just not 2024. It's not 2023 either. So if he's come out or said, yeah, there's really only two people that know this. I'm happy for him to not play for Inter again until it's sorted, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because it's an international break now. It should be dead and buried by Empoli or by Cagliari anyway. Matteo Darmian, what a goal yesterday. The guy is just clutch at this point of the season. His goals are just reminiscent of the Antonio Conte season. He's now bagged us 4 competition points on his own. Sorry, just some people doing a video shoot next to a car and a gravestone. Sorry guys, the reception, there's still 26 people here now, which is awesome for a live drive. So I'm going to keep going. If it says reconnecting, just stay with me, because we're about to pass through our favorite notorious worst street in southwest Sydney reception wise. And because it's a busy day today, I think on the road, everyone's moving a little bit slower. So it could take a little bit longer. Guys, I'm actually going to avoid reading comments. Beppe came in with a smart comment. He was like, don't read and drive. So I'm just going to wait until I turn this corner, because once I turn this corner, it's just a straight drive with nobody else on the road. Matteo Darmian, who's going to buy him though? That's the thing. Like, for the wage that he's on and the contribution that he makes, why would you even think of moving this player on? I say you keep him around no matter what. You have to keep him around no matter what. So the players that I think definitely are leaving, are one, Cuadrado. I can't put a definite on Denzel Dumfries, but I'm sure he'll still be the one that they try to move. And I'm going to say it, I think Marcus Thuram might be the other one. I really do think he might be the other one. Yeah, hate me. I'm going to, like, the comments are starting to come through again. I'm going to read them now because there's no one ahead of me. Thank you very much. Does Lautaro deserve 10 million? I don't think there's a player in Serie A that deserves 10 million. So no, I don't think he deserves it. Do you give it to him and then try and maybe move him on after his next best season? Maybe. Maybe. What number do you realistically want to entertain Lautaro leaving? Because to me, you're now in a position where with his goal stats and the Scudetto as the captain, now you're in the box seat with 100 plus. Now you're in the box seat with 100 plus. You don't entertain offers under 100. You don't even go to the board meeting for offers. You know, in FIFA, where you send an offer that's a low ball and the character looks at you and goes, you've wasted our time coming to the meeting today. We have to not even get to the point where we say you've wasted our time. We need a supreme agreement that only offers of 100 mil plus come to the table for Lautaro. And that's when you think about a sale. That's when you think about a sale. Because 100 million for this guy, I gotta say, man, I love him, but he's not the player that is 110, 120 worth. I'm sorry. I don't think I'd agree him for a 10 million salary either. I really don't. So, yeah, it's a tough one, and we're going to debate this a lot more. But still. Uncle Sharma's here. That's beautiful. Thanks for coming in. Once again, I'm still elated at the idea that we don't need keyhole surgery at the end of the season. This is a luxury that we have now, being able to go to the end of the season with this second star under the belt, you know, hopefully. And yeah. So instead of Acerbi, I think the most ironic part about this whole comment is I think one Luca Mancini got called up to the national team. Which I don't even need to comment on that. I really don't need to comment on that. Anthony says, trust me when it comes to Milan to make signings in the back line. Yeah. Yep. So some open heart surgery needed there. Would I take Rabiot? Definitely not, bro. Definitely not. I don't want these waste men, bro. I don't want these leftovers. I don't think we're in a position to do that. Like, I know that this has worked for Marotta in the past, but it hasn't worked with Arnautovic properly. It hasn't worked for Cuadrado at all. You could argue that bringing back Alexis Sanchez and paying him that big wage has worked to an extent. I don't think it has. So I'm over that. I'm really over that. Why our scouts have done a great job mitigating the crisis situation, but I think they need to be a little bit more expendable. Go to France, go to Germany, go to Spain, go to any other Latin country and see what sort of gems you can find. There's a lot of clubs out there with decent players that need money, that could really use 8.5 million, 10 million, 12 million. You know, you take that gamble on a 20, 21-year-old, and you know what? If they come good, you double the value very quickly. If they don't come good, you sell them for the same price or you loan them out. The risk is not that high. And I know people would say, like, you know, if you're in a position, you know, get the guaranteed players, the proven players. Well, the proven players are not that proven. All that they prove is to be a liability a lot of the time with age. Arnautovic has been a liability every time he's taken the pitch. Cuadrado is not an Inter player. He's not an Inter player. It almost pisses me off that he's going to get to celebrate at the end of the season. He shouldn't have to. Could we play Pavard in a central centre-back role with Bisek and Bastoni either side? Yeah, I think so. I think that it could work. I'm sure that we'll entertain defenders at the end of the season. I thought it was a tactic to get the result on the pitch. The fact the ref didn't react at all tells me. That's what I think. I think that there was a tactic to get a reaction on the pitch. Good to see so many people in here. Yeah, Mattia, remember I said last season, this is the season that we're going to see the drop in Darmian that forces us to sell? I was wrong. We were wrong. Last year should have been the season where we looked at Darmian and went, oh my God, this guy has got to go. He can't play another minute. But for this salary and what he can do, he needs to be here next season again. You know why? Because with 20 minutes to go in the game, boys and girls, What a great treat it is to be able to say that. With Debbie Kerr, Rosemary, Amy coming in as well, we've actually got a slight female audience on this channel. What a great accomplishment. It's not exactly what you'd expect for this niche sort of commentary on an Italian club in English. With 20 minutes to go in the game, you want to look at your bench and see a liability, or you want to look at your bench and go, I need someone for right wing back, Matty Darms. I need someone for right centre back, Matty Darms. I need someone for left centre back, Matty Darms. I need someone for left wing back, Matty Darms. Matty Darms giveth, Matty Darms very rarely taketh away. He is the most consistent of the bunch. Keep him around. That's the sort of player you want in your locker room. You know, this is, we're just looking at Ranocchia version 2 here, without the captain's armband and without the Inter legacy. Good to see all of you. Very close to work now. Straight drive, couple 100 meters away. For Lautaro, you guys should not. Yeah, exactly right. 100 million or bust for Lautaro. At least Acerbi will rest now, definitely. We got 2 weeks off here. We got 2 weeks off here to reset everything. So I do think that we're going to come out against Empoli like a bunch of hungry hyenas, but let's see how we go there. Immobile, Xerxes, Taremi, Lautaro. Take Taremi out of that situation. Take Taremi out of that situation, please. And let's see what else we can do there. Ciro Immobile. Ciro Immobile. Now, he's a name I'm more than happy to entertain. If we can, is he in the last year of his contract, or will we have to pay a fee? If we don't have to pay a fee and we can get Immobile on the cheap, that's exactly who I'd be looking for. Serie A proven, would come into this side like a glove, would need very, very minimal work. Ciro Immobile is the version of Arnautovic and Taremi that we want. Hate me on that all you want. I know a Serie A player that can do a job when I look at it. That is the guy. If you want to guarantee some numbers, you really want to go into next season knowing that you've got a proper backup if shit hits the fan, that's the guy to do it. I'm not too sure how the numbers will work. I'm not too sure the wage he'd command or if there's a fee attached. I'm very out of the loop with his contract situation at Lazio. I don't know what's going on there. He would get my tick of approval immediately. Immediately. VR says, well, all clubs can do what I'm saying. What am I saying, bro? I've said a lot. I've said way too much in the last 23 minutes. If you're saying that all clubs can flip players and just do it quickly, then no. Not all clubs in Italy can do that. Because for AC Milan, let's use them as an example. Who exactly is going to coop them the fee that they want to reinvest into the squad? These owners don't have the heart and passion to reinvest the way that the fans want to. You know, they've given away a key identity of the club with the Maldini-Massara situation and then the Tonali, although in hindsight it looks like a great deal for Tonali. You know, if Milan really want to flip the script and reinvest, it is going to cost them Mike Maignan or Rafael Leao. It's going to cost them one of the two. And if that happens, then you're in damage control even further, which is what they've been this season. Thuram is a left winger in a 4-3-3 situation only. He's gonna, if we're really gonna reinvest in the attack properly, Thuram might have to go. Go to Dinamo or Hajduk from Croatia. There is always 2 to 3 really good young defenders and never misses with a Croatian signing. Silvio, I'm gonna have to agree, man. I really just think that, like, I really think that we need to go into these countries and start to look for gems again. It can't be that hard, guys. It really can't be that hard to look in some of these countries and find some of these players in clubs that, you know, 10 million to them is 50 million. You know, you got to go to these clubs that need the money. If Inzaghi is staying, Thuram out, I like that. I like that because this is a manager that gives me hope and faith that he can work wonders. The guy has had to cop losing Romelu Lukaku twice. Everybody knows Romelu Lukaku plays for your squad. You build the entire squad and tactics around that number 9. He's been yanked twice. Couple of weeks before preseason. You know what, Omar? This just might be the most intelligent comment on this stream, apart from Beppe telling me not to read and drive. That's such a good comment. One sentence, very short, extremely correct, extremely effective. If Inzaghi stays, Thuram can go. Brilliant. I say we switch formation next season. I think a couple of people are starting to get those vibes. You guys are absolutely blowing me up here, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mattia, and thank you, Rosemary. Cheeto is old, man, and no more pace. Have you seen his miss rate? Yeah, I have seen his miss rate this season. Have you seen Marko Arnautovic this season? Well, once again, we're not asking Cheeto Immobile to come in and stat pad double figures. I think that Cheeto Immobile coming in to play half the minutes he's expected to play at Lazio is exactly what we could do. I completely agree that a lot of Inter fans will not want Immobile, and that's fine. And I'm really glad to be planting that seed now, because we got hella content to talk about in this off season. Lots of chats, lots of fans that I'd love to invite on and call in. You know, debating each other, fighting each other. That's what we should be doing. We should be doing, because we have the biggest luxury of all. We don't need to wear the responsibility for our opinions. It's not our money. It's not our decisions. We don't work for the club. So it's all really, really good fun. And thank you, everybody, coming in to have that conversation. Scalvini for Atalanta next. Atalanta taxi, I get what you're saying, Darmian. Look, if the club really wants to invest properly, I think that it needs to be in an attacker, because we had that option at the start of the season, and we chose Benji Pavard. Pavard, Bastoni, Bisek, that's a really good core back three with De Vrij, Bastoni, Augusto, Di Marco, Darmian, all potentially rotating. I really don't think we need to drop X amount on a defender. I really don't think we need to do that. But as we get to the end of the season, our minds might change. We've been formidable at the back this season, but we can all tell the lapses of concentration are now there. We sort of look like the Inter of last season. Guys, there's only 10 likes on the video, and there's 30 of you here. So big up to Mattia for reminding everyone. But if you're here, or if you're watching this, please like this video, and let's get up to 15 likes at least. Please, 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 let's see those likes go up. There could be some lapses between now and the end of the season where we go, holy shit, whatever bag we thought we were working with, can we slap it onto a defender as soon as possible? And a good one that can be proven. So I guess it all depends on the sort of money that is going to come in. You know, if you get money for Dumfries, maybe you look at reinvesting in that position, even though with Buchanan and Darmian around, I don't see the reinvestment happening. In fact, I don't even know if selling Dumfries is the smartest decision. 31 people for a live drive and 15 likes. That's really, really good. Thank you, guys. You've made my morning before I've even gotten to work, which is absolutely great. It's time to do this. Oh, you're a legend, Debbie. You're an absolute legend. You're all legends. This is why I keep doing this. And this has sort of been a season where I've been so busy, I wanted to do more content, but now I'm starting to get a little bit more free time right at the perfect time of the season, where we've got something to celebrate very, very soon. And believe me, the celebrations on this channel are going to be great. I'm not neglecting the celebrations at all. The celebrations will go for weeks. They might even go for months until the start of next season. No, y'all can go. Go, go, go. I'm letting y'all through. I'm in a very generous mood today. Go, go, go. All right. Brilliant stuff. Ciao, Ian. Good to see you. Very rarely do I actually pull up and keep recording, but this has been so enjoyable, and I'm early. Why not just kick it for a little bit longer? And now that I'm pulled over, it's all relaxing. It's all relaxing. Okay, thank you. I'm at the airport right now. I had the day of my life at Inter Napoli. Congratulations, man. Great. Atmosphere was brilliant. Met so many brilliant Inter fans. That's fantastic, man. And it's good that you went at this point of the season as well, where, you know, a point against Napoli is a good result. Don't let anyone who's too pessimistic fool you about yesterday. The result is the result. 1-1 against last year's champions. I know they're having a shithouse season, but you take those results every day of the week. You take those results every day of the week when you were plus 16 going into it. That's for sure. We're in a season where so many clubs have dropped points at home, away from home. That point against Napoli yesterday, it sets us up very nicely to keep stat padding, because we are very, very close to the season now. The way I'm seeing the table and the way I'm seeing the fixtures is this. I want to stay, what's it called? A certain amount of games ahead versus the amount of games that are remaining. And I'd like to stay half of the amount of games ahead. Right now, we're just short of that. We are 4 games ahead with 9 games left. You win against Empoli, and the minimum you can be ahead is 14 points ahead with 8 games left, which would mean we are 4 games ahead with 8 games left, which means it's done. As soon as you end up in single-digit games to go and you're double points ahead, it's done, because then you can 1 point your way till the end of the season. 1 point your way till the end of the season. If you're 3 games ahead with 6 games to go, you can 1 point your way to the end of the season. If you're 2 games ahead with 4 games to go, you can almost 1 point your way till the end of the season. Okay? But that's not going to happen. We are not going to let it get to that point. In my opinion, we are going to see... You're going to see some drop points. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing, and I'm going to be the one to say it here on the camera. I'm sorry. There will be no points record. I do not think there will be a points record. I don't think it's a motivator enough to keep going that hard and keep pushing every single game. I don't think it's that much of an intrinsic and extrinsic motivator. I really don't think. And of course, Milan are going to drop points, like Nick Knox is going to say. You really think that Milan is going to win 9 out of 9 with a Europa League rotation against Roma? Oh, mate, when they go to the Cauldron and when they welcome Roma to San Siro, I really highly recommend everybody cancel what you're doing and tune into that quarterfinal, because we are putting Italy on the map there. I will be watching that game and I will be cheering that game. And you know what it is? I ain't even going to sit here and say that I want Milan to lose. I will cheer that game on just in general, because that's what we need to do for Serie A at the moment. There's no direct correlation for us. It's not Champions League, so we don't need to feel jealous. That's an Italian team versus an Italian team in the quarterfinals. We get behind Serie A and we go hard and we cheer that game. We don't cheer Milan, that's for sure. In the back of your head, you sort of hope that Roma's going to win, but come on, guys. We've all been watching Serie A for a long time. This is the sort of game that is going to fucking set fire to the world and the league. This is going to be great. Those Roma fans are going to travel to Milan with blood in their mouth. Those Milan fans are going to travel to Roma with blood on their nipples. It's going to be gory. I cannot wait for the Milan-Roma Europa League quarterfinal. It's going to be big. In my opinion, Milan, we sort of, when I was saying this when they won the title a couple of years ago, there was just something about them. They've just had that little bit of extra grit than us up until this season, obviously. They've managed to win so many games where they didn't really deserve the points, and they keep doing that now. They've got these aesthetically pleasing players that can outrun the other teams and that can get the result and get something short. I believe Milan is actually going to impress towards the end of this season. And to be honest, I'm actually going to give them 5 wins out of their last 9. 5 or 6. That's how good I think that they're going to continue to be. I'm going to give them 5 wins. I'm going to give them at least 18. I'm going to give them 17 to 18 competition points in between now and the end of the season, which is pretty good. If they can go and get 18 out of 27, I actually think that's very, very good. And I expect them to. For us, I believe that we are going to get maybe 4 out of our next 6 points or 7 out of our next 9. We're not going to lose a game, but there's going to be a slip, whether it comes to Cagliari or Udinese, something like that. I can see it happening, because I don't think that we're going to go into the Milan derby being able to win it head to head. But I do think it's that game where, we're going to go into the Milan game knowing that even a loss is not going to impact anything. And we won't lose that game, in my opinion. We know that there's too much on the line here. However, it's a very plausible situation that Milan are not going to let us win that game, because to beat them to win the title in the backyard, and to be honest, I'm doing the maths in my head and it just doesn't correlate. Milan would have to drop 2 games in a row to give us an opportunity to go there and win it on this match day. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think realistically we can expect to draw or win the game against Milan and know that if they don't get 3 points against Juve the following week, we will be champions. And to be honest, the idea of the full-time whistle going for Juve Milan knowing that those two sides have to shake each other's hand at the moment that we're crowned champions, to me, that's better than beating them. And it's better than beating them the week before and getting the guard of honor. Misery loves company. All right. We would have won the league with a draw against Milan. Yep, does it mean we win it now against Milan if we beat them? I'm not too sure. Milan should drop some points against Fiorentina as well. I think they will. I think they'll drop points there. Walked with my Inter shirt's fantastic. Never want Milan to win. They are underrated this season. Yeah, like they've got a little, they've still got that oomph in them, because you know what? There were moments this season, Mattia, where Milan should have died in the arse. Ibra stopped motivating them. They've lost some key players. They've had some injuries. Leao looks like he wants to leave. You know, this should have been a season where Milan are looking over their shoulder in top four, but they're not. They're not. Some of them are still looking ahead. I don't see Milan dropping many points. They'll only drop to Fiorentina, us, Torino, and maybe Genoa. Yeah, oh, they're definitely beating Juve. They're definitely beating Juve, in my opinion. That's a game where, you know, we might actually have to watch that and go, like, sort of hope Juve get this win here. But then again, like, Juve beating Milan. Woo! I just thought of that. Juve beating Milan. And then the sheer realization that they've just handed us the league because Milan didn't get maximum points. Holy dick. I don't even want to think about being that happy. I would need to take 3 days of sick leave from school, because I don't think I could recover from that level of happiness. I might turn up passed out somewhere in those 3 days if that happened. If Juve were to beat Milan and the whistle was to go and that would mathematically seal the Scudetto, just send a search party out for me already. Call the police, send a search party out for me. Call my wife, let her know I love her, but whatever happens in my life after that is cool. We can die happy after that. They can stitch the second star, you know what? I can live stream my tattoo to Turin as well. That would be the dopest thing ever. I can't believe I've stuck around this long. I'm going to be exceptionally late for work if I don't piss off in a second. If we watch a watch along, Debbie. A watch it. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. I got goosebumps with how good the ending of this season is going to be. It would be the most Inter thing in the world to come back from the international break and drop points against Empoli, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said yesterday, and Mattia said yesterday, and a few others said, this international break came at the best time. This was probably my favorite live drive I've ever done since I've recorded it. We got a high of 34 people, and there's now 19 likes. If you're still here, like the video, get to 20. Perfect. Thank you so much. Forza you guys, Forza Inter worldwide. I hope you all have an absolute cracker of a sleep, a cracker of a day. Happy Tuesday from me. I will see y'all on the next one. Ciao. Thank you. Bye. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. See you later. Ciao, Ian. Ciao, Debbie.